It's been nearly 30 years. 30 years? It's been nearly 20 years since the last Legacy of Kain game. 2023 will mark the last time an official, a truly real Legacy of Kain game was released with Legacy of Kain Defiance. Not to discredit Nosgoth, the free-to-play online multiplayer shooter that came out around 2012 and I believe was canceled in 2013, 2014, 2015 actually. And I was there from the beginning until the very end. I actually enjoyed Nosgoth, so I mean, discredit me how you will. But yeah, it's been that long, guys. It has been almost 10 years since fucking Nosgoth now. God. It's been 10 years since Nosgoth, 20 years since Defiance, even longer since Soul Reaver and Blood Omen. And finally, there is some hope for the Legacy of Kain community. Embracer Group, as you know, for clicking on this video, have bought Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, the makers of Legacy of Kain, at least the Soul Reaver trilogy anyway. Square Enix Montreal, and the makers of I think they even own a Thief now, and Eidos Montreal. No, my bad. Eidos Montreal is a Thief and Deus Ex, Tomb Raider also. This means that all of those series can come back. This is a really weird time because we've had reboots in first-person shooter genres like Quake. Quake is inevitably coming back. Doom has come back. And it only is right that Legacy of Kain make a return as well. Throughout the years, we have had many a Legacy of Kain-like, but nothing really official Legacy of Kain. Yes, again, there was Nosgoth, but many a fan did not like Nosgoth. I did love Nosgoth. Again, I simp for Nosgoth, guys. So it's been many a year really since the Legacy of Kain game. We've had to deal with Legacy of Kain likes, Darksiders, fantastic series. Highly recommend playing Darksiders if you want that Legacy of Kain feel. There is recently coming up V Rising, I think is the name of the game. It looks very Blood Omen, but it is a online survival game with vampires and stuff around it. It looks really cool. I won't be covering it on this channel. I might change my mind. I don't know, but for now, the whole survival thing doesn't really interest me, but V Rising, check that one out. And of course, Dead House Sonata, a game that is very close to my heart, as well as a bunch of Legacy of Kain fans also. Dead House Sonata, covered on my channel, obviously. That is the other Legacy of Kain style game that we are getting, right? What this means, though, is that Embracer Group might reach out and have, apart from Crystal Dynamics, develop another Legacy of Kain game. Give the license of Legacy of Kain out, to use, hopefully not for Fortnite, God forbid. But for Dead House Sonata, anyways, for Dead House Sonata speaking, it can be, instead of having an homage to Kain's armor in Dead House Sonata, we get the actual Kain's armor from Legacy of Kain. Instead of having a Kain-like character cameo in Dead House Sonata, we get the actual Kain with Simon Templeman in Dead House Sonata. Instead of an homage to the Soul Reaver sword from Legacy of Kain in Dead House Sonata, we get the official Soul Reaver sword from Legacy of Kain in Dead House Sonata. And of course, we get a proper full single-player action, adventure, Zelda-like, Devil May Cry, whatever genre it decides to pick, Legacy of Kain developed by Crystal Dynamics or another studio. There have been a couple of attempts at rebooting Legacy of Kain, again with Nosgoth. There was Legacy of Kain Dead Sun, which was canceled. I actually enjoyed the look of that also. Nosgoth was the remnants of Dead Sun. And there was a reboot of the series called potentially working title Omen, being developed around 2015, 2016 by Dennis Dyack and a small team. And it got pretty okay into development. I want to say they got at least a really rough prototype off the ground. I did interview Dennis Dyack a couple of years ago, and I did ask him that question. He did work on that title. I'm sorry if there's a weird law or something preventing him from talking about it, probably, but not anymore. Maybe Dennis Dyack will actually get to be able to work on that Omen reboot along with Dead House Sonata and a bunch of other projects. But this just means that there's more Legacy of Kain. This means that Thief, another series that is close to my heart, Deus Ex, Tomb Raider are all going to come back. Maybe that fan remake of Tomb Raider 2, The Dagger of Zion, or Xion, is going to officially get worked on by Crystal Dynamics, that they'll bring in that guy and they'll actually work on a Tomb Raider 2 remake being developed in Unreal Engine 4 or 5 maybe if they port it over. YouTube it, guys. It's really cool. A Tomb Raider fan remake for Tomb Raider 2 looks fantastic. Deus Ex will finally get that third game that Mankind Divided left us in a cliffhanger on. Thief will hopefully come back to a proper release. Not that the Thief that we got was bad from some years ago, just wasn't a proper Thief game. Like it wasn't a bad game, guys, but it was a bad Thief game, if that makes sense. So maybe we'll get another Thief game instead of having to rely on Dishonored or the Dark mod, which is a really great how Thief 4 probably should have been kind of thing. There's a whole lot more to this deal than just a new Legacy of Kain, a new Thief, and a new Deus Ex, and a new Tomb Raider, and other games or franchises that they all have on their belts, and a bunch of really talented game developers. I think Skill Up, another YouTuber, goes into more detail, and of course Razorfist talked about it in a video from earlier today, I believe. But yes, it's more Legacy of Kain, guys. There's hope. The last taste of that terrible, bitter illusion, hope, is finally coming to fruition. The coin has finally landed on its edge. Possibly. Now it's instead of being stuck in limbo forever, it's there. There's a chance, guys. There's a chance. And of course, Blood Omen last year got released on GOG. A link for it down below in the description for Blood Omen, the original Blood Omen. So you can finally play all of Legacy of Kain games on PC. The GOG version of Blood Omen is actually really good. It is still the original. There are fan patches. The Soul Reaver 2, Blood Omen 2, and Defiance. I all recommend buying the good old games version, the GOG version for those. They are slightly more stable than the Steam versions. However, they are not perfect. What this means also is that maybe those PC ports will become perfected. Maybe the console versions, which the ones I recommend you do play for Soul Reaver and Soul Reaver 2, will be properly ported or emulated or remade, even remastered by Night Dive Studios one day, hopefully. Now that this is happening, we'll get remasters properly. Like can you imagine a Night Dive Studios remaster of the Legacy of Kain series in their Kex engine? They are mostly known for first person shooters, but they did do Shadow Man, which is another fantastic Legacy of Kain like ish game. Oddly enough, they came out around the exact same time, Soul Reaver and Shadow Man. Very good, very similar games. Sort of similar concepts or whatever. It's really, really good stuff. But yes, just more Legacy of Kain, guys. There is hope. And I'm all this is just me ranting about how excited I am for this. I'm excited for Deus Ex. I'm excited for Thief. I should probably finish my Thief playthrough. And of course, I'm excited for Legacy of Kain. Again, thank you, Embracer Group. I'm thanking whoever owns it or whoever's a part of that collective now, in hopes that it doesn't turn into a giant shit can of this is a bad thing, like Tencent buying up everyone. Yeah, if you guys want to play Legacy of Kain style games, I recommend the Darksiders series, as I said a little bit earlier. Obviously, checking out Dead House Sonata. It is being created by Dennis Dyack, the creator of the Legacy of Kain series, and I recommend some other just vampire games, like Vampire a couple years ago. That was really good. But yeah, like just Legacy of Kain, guys, it's coming back. There's hope, as well as those other game series. I'm just beyond excited. I hope you guys are too. That's all I have for today. I am Calypso, and I will see you guys in the next one. Ve Victus.